For today's inspiration, we head to Exodus. And Exodus begins with a situation that looks impossible. God's people are living in Egypt, but the place that once provided for them has now become the place that oppresses them. They're enslaved, they're exhausted, they're crying out to God. And for a long time, it probably felt like heaven was quiet. But Exodus teaches us something we cannot forget. God's silence does not mean God's absence. Because while Israel was crying, God was already preparing Moses. And somebody needs to hear that today. You may be praying, God, when are you going to do something? And God may already be working on the answer somewhere you cannot see. You're looking at the problem. God is preparing the person. You're looking at the delay. God is arranging the deliverance. You're asking why nothing has changed yet. And God may be saying, I'm already moving. Moses himself is proof that God can use somebody who doesn't feel qualified. When God calls Moses from the burning bush, Moses doesn't immediately say, absolutely, God, I'm your man. No, Moses starts giving excuses. Who am I? What if they don't believe me? I'm not good with words. Please send somebody else. Does that sound familiar? Because sometimes God calls us towards something, and the first thing we do is start listing all the reasons we can't do it. God says, go. We say, but I'm not ready. God says, trust me. We say, but I don't have enough. God says, I chose you. We say, but you must have the wrong person. And God's answer to Moses wasn't, you're amazing, Moses. His answer was essentially, I will be with you. That's the difference. Your confidence does not have to come from knowing you can handle everything. Your confidence can come from knowing God is going with you. Moses goes back to Egypt and confronts Pharaoh, and Pharaoh refuses to let the people go. Again, and again, and again. This is where many of us get discouraged, because we assume that if God sent us, there shouldn't be resistance. But obedience does not always produce immediate results. Sometimes you can be doing exactly what God told you to do and still face opposition. Moses obeyed God, and Pharaoh still said no. That does not mean Moses missed God. It means the battle wasn't finished. God sends the plagues, and through every one of them, Pharaoh has shown that he is not in control. Eventually, we arrive at the Passover. God tells his people to place the blood of a lamb over their doorposts. That blood becomes a sign of protection. And for Christians, Passover points forward to Jesus, the Lamb of God whose sacrifice brings rescue from sin and death. But there is also something personal here. God was teaching his people, when I tell you how to move, trust my instructions, even when you don't fully understand them. Then finally, Pharaoh lets them go. Imagine that moment. After generations of slavery, they're free. They're walking out. The thing they had prayed for has finally happened. But then they reach the Red Sea, water in front of them, Pharaoh's army behind them. And suddenly, the people panic. Because isn't that how life works sometimes? God brings you out of one thing, and before you can even celebrate, you're staring at another problem. You thought leaving the old relationship would solve everything. Then healing got hard. You thought getting the new job would solve everything. Then new pressure came with it. You thought starting over would feel freeing. Then fear showed up. And you ask, God, you brought me this far just to let me fail here? Israel basically asked the same thing. They told Moses they would have been better off staying in Egypt. And Moses tells them in Exodus 14, the Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. But then God gives Moses another instruction. Move forward. That part is important. Because there are moments when faith means standing still, and there are moments when faith means taking the next step. Moses stretches out his hand, and the sea opens. A road appears where there wasn't a road before. Let that sink in. God did not simply remove the obstacle. God created a path through it. And maybe that is the word for somebody watching today. You've been asking God to take the sea away, but He might be getting ready to take you through it. You've been asking Him to remove every difficult situation. God may be saying, I'm going to show you that even this cannot stop what I have planned for you. The Red Sea teaches us, what looks like a dead end to you can become a doorway when God gets involved. And once Israel crosses over, the same water that looked like their biggest obstacle becomes part of their deliverance. The enemy that chased them could not follow them into the place God was taking them. Some things cannot come with you. Some habits cannot come with you. Some relationships cannot come with you. Some mindsets cannot come with you. Some versions of you cannot come with you. God didn't bring Israel out so they could keep living like slaves. And He doesn't deliver us just so we can keep thinking like the person we used to be. So here's the lesson from Exodus. Part 1. God hears you, even when it feels quiet. God can use you, even when you feel unqualified. God can fight for you, even when the enemy seems stronger. And God can make a way where you cannot see one. So if you're standing in front of your own Red Sea right now, don't let what you see make you forget who brought you this far. The same God who got you out can get you through. If you believe God can make a way where there seems to be no way, comment, God will make a way. And send this lesson to somebody who feels trapped between what they left and where God is taking them. Because next time, for today's inspiration, we head back to Exodus.